Well, it's that time of year again, folks. The time of year when to distract myself from the incoming torpedo of dread that is the Christmas season, I make my wife's eyes roll by whipping out my favourite Christmas games. I'm sure most people have those games. The ones that give you that sparkly winter vibe. The games you wrestle out of the cupboard every December and play year after year after year after year after year after year after year.
And here, far from the castle, the race of mystics came to live in a dream of peace, numbly rehearsing the ancient ways in a blur of forgetfulness. But today, the ritual gives no comfort.
Anyway, for me at least, one game tops that list, and that is Christmas Nights into Dreams. One of the nice things about having a kid, apart from the tortuous lack of sleep, lack of money, lack of sanity, loss of most of your free time, the submarine-like existence, and the intense boredom, is that you get to play the stuff you played as a kid with them, and experience a little bit of that magic again. Nights into Dreams was a financial disappointment back in the day, but I've never felt that this was due to the appeal of Nights as a character. I look at my 3-year-old daughter's reaction to her, him, it, and it's plain to see. The absolute lunacy of Nights makes perfect sense to a 3-year-old. She loves Nights, to the point where one of her favourite larks is to ask me to fly her around the house while she holds her arms wide open. Now, apart from being a minor health and safety risk, this is a testament to the magic of this game. Anyway, I got my Saturn for Christmas '96. I was 12 at the time. I read loads of UK games magazines back in the day, and being the savvy consumer I was at that time, I knew that Sega was giving away free copies of Christmas Nights to folks who bought a Saturn over the Xmas period. I went with my mum to the local high street and strolled into Dixon's.
Dixon's sale. Dixon's. Dixon's sale. Dixon's. Dixon's sale. Dixon's. Dixon's sale. Dixon's. Dixon's sale. Dixon's. Dixon's sale.
And bought a Sega Saturn bundle, including, I think, Virtua Fighter 2 and Sega Rally. Absolute gems. When the dude behind the till brought my package, I noticed that he had in fact forgotten or was blissfully unaware of Sega's festive promotion, and I had to politely inform my assistant, my mum, that the situation must be rectified immediately. Needless to say, I got my copy of Christmas Nights.
The city is covered with Christmas decorations. And people are looking for presents for their loved ones. Among them are Elliot and Clarice. They all look rushed. That gentleman, that lady, that old man. Why do they have to walk that fast? In the crowd, they feel something important is missing. The streets look so beautiful. This is the most cheerful time of the year, but it seems like nobody is paying any attention to something important. Walking down the street, they find themselves in the middle of Twin Seeds City, facing the mammoth Twin Seeds Tower. It is decorated beautifully, and the tower appears as one huge Christmas tree. However, they realize what is missing from the Christmas spirit. The one thing nobody seems to notice. There is no shiny star atop the gigantic Christmas tree. Without it, the tree is incomplete.
Completely unnecessary, completely amazing, and completely free. At the time, I thought that Christmas Nights was genuinely a Christmas present from Sega. In hindsight, I realised that it was basically an extended demo intended largely to get kids to buy a big budget game that had sold somewhat disappointingly. However, I still believe that it isn't just a demo. This little gaming EP is so filled with magic, enthusiasm, and a sense of fun that I'm sure at least some folks at Sega just wanted to spread a bit of good cheer. This game is probably the most Christmassy thing since watching Raiders of the Lost Ark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with your granddad snoring like a wounded elephant on the couch while you chow down on your 13th bar of chocolate from your Cadbury selection box. So, what do you get? Well, you get a very nice intro, you get one level of Nights into Dreams, dressed to the nines in Christmassy trappings. You can play as either Clarice or Elliot, and when you complete it with both characters, you get a nice little ending to the tiny story they set up in the intro. You also get this amazing song, dripping in 90s syrup.
In the night, dream delight, I found someone who really cares. In the night, dream delight, I want to see you smile again in the night. Dream delight, you are the one I've waited for.
When you've completed the game, you get to open your presents. This is a match the picture type game thing, and for every matching pair you find, you get a gift. These range from really nice pre-rendered images and concept artwork, etc., along with some trailers for the full game, a mildly amusing karaoke mode, a time attack and link attack mode, some other stuff, and you get to play nights as Sonic. This game had a very clever system that uses the system's internal clock, powered by a little battery, to know what time of year it was, and the game would reflect this. By playing on specific dates, special features such as new backgrounds, costumes for the characters, and Easter eggs would appear. You had winter nights, New Year's nights, April Fool's nights, Father Christmas would appear on December 24th or 25th, and lots of other neat stuff too. Now, in the days before widespread internet use, mobile phones, Animal Crossing, and whatever else, this seemed like some sort of crazy black voodoo magic to me. I thought it was fucking amazing at the time, and I still think it's pretty neat now. And I enjoy putting it on when we get into December and seeing the game transform from winter nights into this. I hope you enjoyed this little nostalgic tour of Christmas nights. I've spent loads of time on this little channel banging on about the unique magic of 90s Sega, and this game is really emblematic of the whole era. It's a truly unique little piece of gaming history, a real snapshot of the genius and insanity that was the Sega of that particular time period, and if you have the chance, I highly recommend giving it a whirl. Okay, next up is also on the Dreamcast, and again, it's not a full game. It's Toy Commander, but not any Toy Commander. This special Xmas demo of Toy Commander was made specifically for the official Dreamcast magazine in the UK. It may well have come out in other territories too, not sure about that. I bought the official Dreamcast magazine pretty religiously at that time. This demo was a really nice surprise, and it really has stood the test of Christmassy time. Toy Commander was a cool and memorable game for the Dreamcast. At the time, the prospect of an action game set in a Toy Story-like miniature world was a really cool proposition, and this game delivered in spades. This is a great representative of the European wing of Dreamcast games with their patented blue Dreamcast swirls. These days, games have converged so much that it's very difficult to tell where a particular game has been developed just by playing it. But back then, well, somehow you can just tell that this game was French. Anyway, in this demo version of Toy Commander, you are tasked with gathering together the 5 presents dotted around the house and dropping them under the Xmas tree. You must use a combination of the Jeep, the plane, and Sinterklaas. Though there isn't a huge amount to say about this, it's short, it's fun, surprisingly replayable, and not to mention, damn Christmassy. Okie doke, what have we got next on my list of Christmas humdingers? Well, folks familiar with my videos just might be able to guess the next one. Like Christmas Nights, Shenmue is also very close to my heart. My mum bought it for me in the lead up to Christmas 2000, and being the confused, slightly drug-addled 16-year-old little shit I was at the time, I stole it from my mum's super-duper secret Xmas wardrobe storage space ahead of Christmas, and played the thing in my room on my little 21-inch Grundig CRT. Sweet 16, what terrible, magical, and confusing times they were. Incidentally, I'm using the Retrotink 5X to upscale this game from a real Dreamcast. Although basically everyone prefers to use the VGA signal from a Dreamcast, and admittedly that is objectively the highest quality output, I personally have always found the image to be just too sharp. I've always preferred the way this game looked on a CRT TV via SCART RGB. Well, thanks to this wicked little device, I can make Shenmue look almost exactly how it used to look on my Grundig CRT, only much bigger of course. This is the Dreamcast's 480i output, with its included nice little smooth flicker filter, plus a little CRT filter courtesy of the Retrotink. I think it looks gorgeous, but you can judge for yourselves of course.
Excuse me?
Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Yes? What is it?
Do you know of any place to find a job at the harbor?
I might know some places around here, but not at the harbor. Sorry.
Is that so?
Ryo,
Nozomi?
what happened? Something's happened, hasn't it?
No.
A fight?
No, it's not that.
Please, you gotta stay out of trouble.
I'm fine.
Yo, but what if something happened to you?
Don't worry.
Promise me you'll take care.
Yeah, see you later.
Anyway, putting all that stuff to one side, Shenmue really is hard to beat when it comes to Christmassy vibes. Of course, there's the literal stuff, like all the decorations in Dabuita Town Centre, and the drunk Father Christmas wandering around town. But for me, it's the intimate, enclosed feel of the game world that captures the vibe of winter. It's an older game, and it lacks some of the visual fidelity of the kind of games you get nowadays, of course. But I still don't think a game has been made that has captured winter so perfectly. Look at the colours, look at the textures, look at the snow falling delicately. It's magical stuff, and I really don't think it's quite been bettered. It's an extremely dense and detailed game world, populated by a cast of highly individual, wonderfully quotidian characters who nevertheless are bursting with personality. And as for the actors they pulled in from a passing bus to do the voiceovers for the NPCs in this game, well, to them I say thank you. Your work is truly the gift that keeps on giving.
Excuse me?
I'm afraid you're disrupting the work. Please, don't come any closer.
Alright.
The overcast skies, the sound of Dio's feet crunching the snow underfoot, the sparkly, ambient, and at times somewhat unsettling music, it really is magical stuff. I'm not going to go into the game at large as I've got another video that's already done that, but needless to say this environment is truly unique and fascinating, and as far as I'm concerned, it just wouldn't be Christmas without a little bit of Shenmue. So, what have we learned? Well, for one thing, we've learned that after playing the same small set of games for like 3 decades now, it's probably high time that Retro Mule wrenched his aging old Swede out of his 90s childhood and back into the real world. But watching my little one interacting so enthusiastically with these old games, I've also learned that they do have a certain enduring Christmassy magic. What are your favourite Christmas games? Please let me know in the comments below, and please remember to have a very
Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Yes?